What's up, ladies and gents? This is K-Sig Kid, coming at you with another Destiny video. Today, Bungie was at it again with their House of Wolves reveal. They showed us our first look at the Prison of Elders. So I'm just going to show a little bit of another clear of the Vault of Glass Gorgons through Atheon. It's like 8 minutes and change. Gonna try for faster if my group ever wants to get along. But anyway, on to the more important stuff. It was the Prison of Elders with special guest host Broman, Professor Broman. And, you know, I was in and watching the stream, and man, Broman is going to get a lot of slack. And quite honestly, he's just kind of he's a bit of an acquired taste, I would say. Now, are some things forced? Maybe, maybe not. But I find him to be a pretty nice guy. I follow his stream on Twitch just like I follow Gathalion. I enjoy both of them. You know, some days, you know, you can get more into Broman than other days. But I feel like he's a pretty genuine guy. Anytime I've asked any questions in chat, he's been right there to go ahead and give answers. And you can't ignore the fact that he is very successful at what he does. He's got a lot of followers, a whole lot more followers than I do in the Destiny community, and because of him and Gathalion and guys like that, that's what helps to keep this game growing and growing. So, you know, tip of the hat to that. It's definitely not easy to go out there and put yourself out for everybody to criticize and stuff. So, you know, I certainly wouldn't ever want to do that. And, you know, a lot of thanks to Gathalion, Triple Wreck, and Broman for doing these streams and bringing all this information to us. You know, I'm sure they're just as excited as we all are. So what is the Prison of Elders? Well, from the looks of it, there is a level 28 version, and with that version you can go in on your own, but you're going to be match made with 2 other individuals because it's a 3-person activity. It is definitely a 3-person activity. Aside from the level 28 version, there's also going to be a couple level 34 versions that rotate with different modifiers that you go in on. And there is also a level 35 version that will always be up there every time. So that's a number of activities that you can go ahead and do each week. The level 34 and level 35 versions, though, you have to come in with your full 3-person team. You can't go in it solo, and you can't be match made with it. So it's something else to consider on your own. Consider that a little bit like the Trials of Osiris. Only thing in this case, there is at least a level 28 version if you want to go in on your own and potentially be match made just to maybe get a feel of it. And quite honestly, you might need to go in and get a feel of it because, you know, Broman and Deej and Matt, these are guys that play Destiny a whole lot, and they struggled big time in the Prison of Elders. They couldn't even finish it, and these guys play Destiny a lot. A whole lot. So those of us that work and maybe play for a couple hours a night or an hour a night after work or maybe just on the weekends, you know, we've got a lot of catching up to do. And those guys were struggling. They couldn't even finish it. And they didn't even get to see any of the bosses or anything. So wow, that just makes me it makes me a little bit concerned about, you know, maybe the more casual Destiny player or, you know, just the general community. Are they going to be able to do this stuff? Or is Bungie going to have to tweak the difficulty settings? Right now, it's way too early to tell. I mean, haven't even fired off a shot in it, so there's no way I would say, oh yeah, Bungie, you've got to absolutely decrease the difficulty in that. No, that wouldn't make any sense, because one other thing, we're going to have new perks on our weapons. We're also going to have new exotic weapons. What can those perks do? What could new armor perks do? I mean, any of those things could be potential benefits to the Prison of Elders. So, you know, can't really speak as to the difficulty aside from, wow, it looks really difficult. You are really going to want your group to be pretty solid, and you're really going to want them to communicate amongst each other. You know, Warlocks seem like it's pretty nice to have with some self-res, a Titan with a bubble. I mean, there are lots of things that all these different classes are looking like they're going to be potentially pretty useful. And aside from playing all the different characters, Bungie's really mixing it up with different modifiers. So, for instance, before a round starts, you have to win 5 rounds before you get rewarded. And we didn't get to see what the rewards were because they didn't end up winning. But yeah, so 5 rounds, and between each round there are new modifiers that come up. So for instance, maybe your melee damage is buffed, or enemy melee damage is buffed, or I think they had one time where primary weapons dealt extra damage. Just all kinds of different things to make sure that your experience in the Prison of Elders isn't the same every time, and that is pretty awesome. I think that's going to be a really nice thing that players want to see, just to keep things fresh and interesting as you go along. Okay, so you get modifiers between each round. Awesome. But Bungie isn't done there, because it's not just going in for 5 waves and killing all enemies. There's also objectives inside, which is just crazy. There were times where the teams had to go and defuse a mine, or kill a mine, or there were times where you had to go ahead and track down a target, just like the daily bounty mission, where there's a specific target that you have to go after, make sure they don't get to a certain point. You know, just a lot of things to kind of mix up and kind of throw a wrench into your plan so you don't get too comfortable. And all of those things, well, today they resulted in death for the players, and I imagine they're going to result in the death for a lot of us, but they're kind of fun still. We saw those cannons also. After the very first Reef reveal with Gathalion, there were images of Guardians carrying these huge rocket launchers and stuff, and everybody was like, what's this? They thought, is this a new exotic weapon? Is this going to rival the Yalahorn? Well, kind of, in the sense that it looks like it's going to be really damaging, but no in the fact that it doesn't look like it's going to be a part of your inventory. What was shown were what they were calling scorch cannons, and with those things it looks like it had a primary and secondary fire. Looks like the rocket can sticky onto an enemy, and then you can charge it up to deal even more damage. It was pretty cool. You looked like you didn't have any type of slowdown in movement speed or anything like that. It looked like it was just a really strong weapon that ended up dropping. And we ended up seeing some of the different levels. So the Prison of Elders is broken up to where I believe you're going to be able to fight all the different enemies in the game. So the Fallen, the Hive, the Vex, and the Cabal. And obviously the Cabal looked really difficult with those shielded Cabal. That doesn't look fun. The Hive, Witches, yeah. When are fighting the Witches ever fun? They're not. And they were definitely a pain in the butt. And of course you're going to be fighting shielded enemies and major enemies. It's chaos. It looks like chaos, and it's going to be fun. What I think is going to be the most fun is watching how the gamers learn and adapt to the gameplay, because quite honestly, who remembers doing the Vault of Glass the first time, or Crota the first time? You died a lot, and right now it looks like doing the Prison of Elders is going to take a whole lot of time to get through at once, because you have to do all 5 rounds or you don't get rewarded. They mentioned that there were no save points to get back in, so if you don't finish it, you don't get rewarded. So it's like, wow, you're really going to have to budget some time off in the beginning, especially whenever trying this out. Probably why it would behoove people to go ahead and try those level 28 strikes from the beginning. But I guess maybe that is how it's going to go. I don't think Bungie's going to let it be a case where players can get up to level 34 within the first hour or so of release. At least I don't think it is. Maybe. Maybe it is, but probably not. So I would imagine that everybody's at least going to get their feet wet with the level 28 strike, and that probably would have been a good way for the stream to actually go today. Let everybody use their level 32 characters and be, you know, at least a little bit over-leveled, as opposed to going in and getting thrown into the wolves' den, as it were. Oh yeah, and also, did you see those, geez, what were they even called? The mines that were on the field there? Whenever they were tripping them, and it would pull up this big arc-damaging bubble and slowed you down? Yeah, that doesn't look fun at all. That is going to be the death of a lot of Guardians. But I think what ended up happening today is Bungie probably wanted to reveal a little bit more, but they weren't able to since we just weren't able to beat the Prison of Elders. But I think it also added another layer of curiosity to gamers, because it means there's just that much more we don't know about the Prison of Elders that we want to see and we want to experience for ourselves. So I hope you have a lot of fun, and I hope you're really anticipating the Prison of Elders. Let me know what you're really interested in seeing and what you liked from the stream today. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smack that like button, subscribe to the channel to keep updated on daily Destiny content, check out these awesome videos, good luck with your raids, your drops, your House of Wolves, and I'll see you around in Destiny.